Let's have a conversation. Tell me what you think about the issues of the world. What kind of spice you wanna be? Tell me where you wanna travel. Do you believe in luxury? What's your hidden passion? What makes you so unique? Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole.
Greetings, I am Nicole Everett, and this is Conversations with Nicole here at the Union Bank in Tallahassee, Florida. Today's main segment features Mark O'Brien, the CEO of Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare. We also have an education segment with LaTanya White of LaTanya White Biz, an entertainment segment with Keith Rodgers of Black on Black Rhyme, and a health segment with Dr. Carlos Campo of Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare. So come on, let's get this conversation started.
Conversations with Nicole.
Greetings, this is Nicole Everett with Conversations with Nicole, and today my special guest is Mr. Mark O'Brien, the CEO of Tallahassee Memorial Hospital. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you.
So we're here in your office at TMH. You've been here since 2003, roughly?
Very good.
Okay.
Yes,
all
13
right.
years.
Now, how's Tallahassee been treating you?
Tallahassee's become home.
That's great.
It's a great community. It's been described as a cosmopolitan Mayberry, very interconnected. But it's been a great home for me professionally, but more importantly, it's been a great place for my family.
Excellent, excellent. Glad to hear that. Yeah, Tallahassee does have a way of just kind of welcoming people, and you build a good support system here.
People come here and they don't want to leave, and there's a reason why.
Absolutely. So Tallahassee Memorial, how many beds do you have?
We're licensed for 772, so we're a very large facility by comparison.
Yes, and you have some new development going on.
We do have some new developments going on.
Tell us about that.
We have a new center that's being built. It's a surgery and ICU tower in particular. That's the principal focus. It's really taking very high service needs and creating a state-of-the-art facility for them. We have a number of surgical facilities linked to our organization, but what we're doing is consolidating them in a way where we're giving rooms that are large enough to accommodate new technologies, basically allow for an expansion of needs over time. We call this a 50-year building because we want it to be state-of-the-art for 50 years. We want to make sure it has the capability of being state-of-the-art, but we also wanted to build it at a size where the community doesn't have to continue to reinvest heavily in this type of service. It's a very expensive building.
That's
it's about
a smart
$260
build.
million.
Wow.
So we're adding 32 new ORs and special procedure rooms, and we're also adding 72 adult ICU beds, the most expensive parts of a hospital. So collectively, it's about a $260 million project.
Wow, that's tremendous. What's the time frame on that?
Well, we anticipate that the building will be finished in the fall of 2018, but when we take care of patients, you want to make sure you do a great job and make no mistakes. So we will probably spend 3 to 4 months doing trial activities, moving patients around, mock surgeries, mock patient care events to make sure we get our flows and our processes down pat before we take the first patient. So at this point, we're anticipating seeing the first patient in the building in February of 2019.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah, it is very exciting.
So what do you believe the impact will be on Tallahassee and the surrounding area?
Well, what we'll have is a truly state-of-the-art facility that will be as good, if not better than anything else you'll find in the country. It really will set us apart. I call it a transformative building for two things. One, it will truly elevate the capability that we will have to provide higher level services to the community, especially those high acuity services, the very most intensive care events, as well as the surgical events. We are becoming what people in healthcare call a quaternary hospital. It's Moody's identified us as an emerging quaternary center, and there are very few of those. Quaternary centers are the highest level.
You know, I was going to ask you, what is that?
It's the Shands, it's the Emory's, it's the Vanderbilts, it's the Cleveland Clinics. It's that type of facility. And the state of Florida has a limited number, but but you're providing services that are unique, that you have to go far and wide to get that. And it also typically links into an academic partnership. And TMH, one of our strategic initiatives is to become more of an academic center, bringing more research here, bringing a broader set of services to the community, and creating an environment where people don't have to leave town to receive not just certain services, but high quality services.
That's great. That's great. You know, I have heard of folks that have gone to Mayo or the Shands for some services, so that's great that folks can stay here and receive those quality service. Excellent. So you talked a little bit about strategic plans. So tell me about what TMH's strategic plan is.
Well, one of the things that we recognize is that, you know, we have a great quality of life in Tallahassee, and it's important for us to always continue to improve and promote that. Well, when you look at quality of life, one of the foundational components to that is quality of health, and you can't have a great quality of health. Can't have a great quality of life unless you have a great quality of health. And, and we do feel that that's our responsibility more than any other organization. And to do that, you have to not just react with At the end of the day, our quality is not just defined by the level of services we provide, the quality of our nurses, the technologies we provide, but really through clinical leadership. And clinical leadership comes through the physicians. The hospital doesn't admit a patient, a hospital doesn't write an order, a physician does. And we have to trust that. And to do that, we have to create the right type of partnerships with doctors to make sure that we're all incentivized to move in the quality direction and that we recruit and retain the very best doctors. So physician alignment's another one. Regionalization, we recognize that as a hospital, we're not just responsible for the people in Leon County. When you look at Tallahassee and our scope of responsibilities, you know, you're 200 miles from Pensacola, 160 miles from Jacksonville, and really almost 200 miles from Macon, which is the next population center. Our reach goes out that far, and in some cases even beyond for our higher level services. We go into Alabama, Mississippi, up into Georgia for some of those higher level services. So we create partnerships across the region. Okay. We also are looking at creating a cultural enhancement, really focusing on the patient-centered piece of it. We've engaged in a partnership with our colleagues called Interdisciplinary Shared Governance. And what that means is that we're engaging our colleagues in the decision-making process around practice, policy, and programs, because at the end of the day, they understand the work more than anybody else, which is a real shift in how we, as an organization, approach things. And in fact, we're kind of a pioneer in that in our industry. But we've taken it to the next level. And what we've done is not just include our colleagues at all levels in this interdisciplinary model, but we've included patients and family representatives, because we want to be more patient-centered, because at the end of the day, we're here to serve the patient.
That's great.
And that helps us to understand the needs of those. We look, of course, at improving our technologies. We're very focused on that. I mentioned that we're also looking at academic growth. We're becoming more of that academic center. And in that regard, we're partnering principally with FSU and the College of Medicine, but also have relationships with UF Health, so where it makes sense. And the last thing, of course, is to look at always being an efficient, operationally focused organization. We have to have the ability as a private organization to reinvest back into the institution effectively, and we are a community asset, and we are stewards of that asset, and so we need to make sure that we make the best use of those resources so we're always a viable asset to serve the community.
Wonderful.
So that's our strategic plan.
That is a great strategic plan. So as we wrap up, I just have one more question. As it relates to outreach to the community in its entirety, what type of outreach is TMH participating in?
Well, it goes back to the population health program. We have engaged in a partnership with the Department of Health and United Way to develop these assessment programs. We've gone out and worked with the community to understand their needs, and in fact have focused on 5 at-risk communities, 5 at-risk neighborhoods, to look at what they need and where we can play a role. And they are in areas of hypertension in particular, infant mortality, and mental health. And so we're engaging in partnerships across the community to help provide services that will help reduce the impact of those events across our community. Some of the things we're doing, for example, is that we're engaging in a very active program called TMH for Life. We have these events on a quarterly basis, and we go all around the community. We've had them most recently out in Fred George Park. We've recently had it at Fred George Park on Capitol Circle Northwest.
Okay.
We've partnered with Bethel and had it down in Frenchtown.
Okay.
We've done it all over the community, but they're really kind of health fairs, health programs where we bring family members in and provide education as well as health events. And then we've also done things like we do grocery store tours where we have dietitians come in and work with people, look at what they shop.
On a tour.
Yes, yes.
He did a nutrition tour.
We've been working on the south side of town principally and looking at what people buy and helping them make better decisions on their choice of foods, et cetera.
Well, I think, because we did a Facebook outreach and asked folks what questions they had for you today around healthcare, and we did get a pretty good response. But maybe, conversations with Nicole can help in making those community engagement activities more aware, make folks more aware of that so they can participate in it and know what the hospital here is doing beyond the walls of the hospital for the community at large.
Well, that would be important. And, clearly, we want to be a part of the dialogue in healthcare.
Okay.
And we recognize that people have access to other people's ears and eyes, and anytime we can help relay a message that promotes health, that would be very important. And we appreciate your interest in this. And we've got lots of other people who you can interview and bring on your show who can also provide a lot more details and a stronger focus on what people can do than me. I'm just a lowly administrator.
No, important administrator. So we're glad to have you. Thank you for your time today, Mark. We really appreciate it. Stay tuned for more conversation. Today's education segment features LaTanya White, founder of LaTanya White Biz. Welcome, LaTanya.
Thank you, Nicole.
So you are FAMU alumni and also teach at the School of Business of Industry, which is also the school that I graduated from, entrepreneurship classes. Yes. Now, LaTanya White Biz also is you are an entrepreneurial expert.
Thank you.
And you provide services for people that are wanting to start their own business, as well as maybe those who are just starting their business, correct? So tell me some about the services you provide.
Well, I'll give you a little bit of history.
Okay.
So I started as an entrepreneur myself almost 10 years ago, and somewhere along the way, my current boss was a client or a guest at one of the events that I was bartending in. Here I am 6 years later. I've been teaching in the School of Business for 6 years, but I had served as a business analyst at the Small Business Development Center. Okay. And one of the things that I saw was that as minorities, students, some of our clients, there was this element of fear that was holding us back. Yeah. Before I could even talk to you about how do we want to market your business, I had to help you realize that the value that you were putting on your products and services was diminished because of our own perspectives.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
Right.
So overcoming that fear is a big first step.
Yes. So that's the foundation of what I do when I service both my students and my clients.
Okay. So it's sort of a coaching probably of sorts. Okay.
It is.
Excellent. So are you pretty busy these days?
These days I am teaching entrepreneurship. It's an elective course in principles of management at FAMU. But I also, with LaTanya White Biz, am looking to leverage, my knowledge, my expertise, and take it out of the classroom because my value is been confined to the classroom. So I have to practice what I preach.
Right.
I talk to my clients a lot about leveraging, using technology to scale because the more people that you can serve, the more problems you can help alleviate in the rest of the world. So I had to be able to do that and demonstrate that for my students. So right now I'm testing out webinars. I have a book coming out and a textbook being published. So there's a lot going on.
You are not short on things to do, are you, ma'am?
That's what they tell me.
So we're talking about entrepreneurship.
Yes.
So give us some tips, maybe 3 tips that people that are thinking about starting their own business that you can give to assist them along the way.
It really starts with the mindset. So my platform of Becoming Fearless, that's an acronym, and the R and fearless stands for retraining.
Okay.
We really have to be retrained on how we value ourselves. So that's the first step, is to acknowledge your worth and what you bring to the world and the value that you offer. And then secondarily, be very clear about what problem you're solving.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to pay you my hard-earned money if you can't articulate to me that you understand what problem I'm facing and how you offer the right solution for me. And then from there, knowing who your customer truly is, market to their heart. As warm and fuzzy as that sounds, you have to talk to them and speak to them on an emotional level before they can make that logical decision to part with their hard-earned dollars.
Okay, good. Oh, great stuff.
Thank you.
Yes, so I like that, being fearless.
Yes.
That is, something that we can definitely hold on to. And as entrepreneurs get started, not to be discouraged along the way, but encouraged and have the courage to go forth and be confident and do what they need to do.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Any closing remarks you want to give us?
Well, just considering where we are in the climate today, with the results that we have, there is no better time than to become fearless about who you are and who you can serve as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. The world is waiting. They've been waiting for you, and I'm so glad you're sharing yourself with us.
Thank you.
But now is the time.
It is. Thank you. So you heard that. Now is the time. Be fearless. LaTanya White Biz, thank you for joining us.
Nicole.
Stay tuned for more conversation. November is Lung Cancer Awareness Month, and for our health segment today, I have Dr. Carlos Campo of Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare. Welcome, Dr. Campo.
Thank you.
So, tell me about lung cancer awareness. What do we need to be aware of?
Well, first off, I think we need to know that lung cancer is the most, is the biggest killer of cancer in the U.S. When you look at breast cancer, colon cancer, and prostate cancer, they don't kill as many Americans as lung cancer does. And part of it has to do with the fact that we haven't had a good screening test for lung cancer. With breast cancer, you have mammograms, self-exam. With prostate, you have blood test and rectal exam. And with colon cancer, you have colonoscopy. It's not until the last couple of years that we have what we call low-dose radiation CAT scans for screening for lung cancer.
Okay.
And there's different sets of guidelines from the American Cancer Society, American College of Chest Physicians, recommending who should be screened for lung cancer. We do know that in many ways lung cancer is preventable, in that 90% of lung cancers originate in smokers.
Okay.
So if you could do away with smoking, you could theoretically do away with 90% of all lung cancer.
And what about the other 10%?
The other 10% are associated to other exposures, chemical exposures, asbestos.
So typically occupational.
Chemicals, yeah. Radon gas also can be a factor with lung cancer.
Secondhand smoke.
Yes.
What effect does smoking have as it relates to lung cancer on people that receive that smoke secondhand?
So secondhand smoking is a recognized risk factor for lung cancer. Now, it's more difficult to quantify because the amount of exposure may vary greatly from one individual to the other. But it is definitely a risk factor for secondhand smoking is a definite risk factor for lung cancer.
Okay, so what can we do to prevent lung
Not
cancer?
smoke. That's simple, not smoke.
That's it, not smoke.
If you don't smoke, again, you would get rid of many, many, many lung cancers.
Okay, sounds good. So, what other, type lung infirmities or diseases do you run across in your line of work?
Again, COPD is another big problem. It is now the third leading cause of death in the U.S. behind cardiovascular illness and cancer. COPD affects, we estimate about 14 million people are diagnosed with COPD, and there's probably another 10 to 12 million that are undiagnosed with COPD, and in COPD in the U.S., probably again, I would say 80 to 90% is related to smoking. The other 10 to 20% also related to occupational exposures.
And tell us what COPD
So
stands
COPD stands for chronic obstructive pulmonary disease.
Okay.
And that is emphysema and chronic bronchitis. Again, that is something that most smokers end up getting.
And what are some of the treatments for?
Usually, again, we use inhalers, bronchodilators, open up the airways. Advanced stage COPD, you use oxygen. Again, like in lung cancer, the biggest issue is prevention. And I think if you could do away with smoking, you would also have a major impact on the third leading cause of death in the U.S., COPD.
Excellent. Well, that's very interesting, and hopefully people will take heed to your advice and not smoke. Thank you for joining us today on
You're
Conversations
welcome.
with
Thank
Nicole.
you. Thank you very much.
Stay tuned for more conversations. Today's entertainment segment features Mr. Keith Rodgers, the founder of Black on Black Rhyme. Welcome, Keith Rodgers.
Welcome, Nicole Everett. She's the founder and CEO of, let me stop.
Conversations with Nicole, right?
Yeah,
Anyway, Black on Black Rhyme started in 1998. What was the inspiration behind it?
The inspiration behind Black on Black Rhyme, the term Black on Black crime was a negative connotation. So we took the R out and made it, we took the C out and made it rhyme. So now you see the rhyme instead of seeing the crime. And we just became the voice of the streets ever since. And actually, we've been talking back. And Back Talk Poetry Troupe is actually the troupe that performs Black on Black Rhyme. It's two different entities, but one big family.
So, tell me about when Black on Black Rhyme performs, or
We perform. Am I cutting you off?
a little bit. Go ahead, it's all right.
Your monologue too long. You need to cut it. We perform every Tuesday at Nefertari's Fine Cuisine, 812 South Macomb Street. Doors open at 8. Doors open at 7:30. The show's from 8 to 11. It's free before 8 if you have on a Black on Black Rhyme shirt. Forever.
Okay. And it features poets.
Yeah, poets, singers, comedians. It's open mic. If you got something you want to get off your chest, we help you bench press.
Right. Okay, so tell me about the types of poems that are performed at a Black on Black Rhyme show.
We have people do original poems, or you can do copywritten for whatever vibe you're in. We have something we call staccatos, which in music is a short note, but at Black on Black Rhyme we made a short poems. Like if I say a word, you repeat the word, then we make it mean something totally different. Like if I say paralyzed. Paralyzed. That's the second time they didn't tell the truth. They told you a pair of lies.
Did y'all get that? Yeah, Keith Rodgers. Okay. Okay. What about?
We have haikus.
Okay, haikus.
We have 6-word stories, which was invented by Ernest Hemingway. We have this thing that was invented by Keith Rodgers called "I Seen Two." Like you might say, "I seen 2 blind dudes with iPhones." I seen 2 crackheads singing, "I want to rock right now."
Okay.
You gotta come to the show to hear the rest of them.
Yeah, you do. All right.
What is 6-word story haiku?
So what? Yeah. What do you? What's the future of Black on Black Rhyme?
Less crime, more rhyme.
Okay.
That's good. I didn't write that answer down.
Yeah, you did have to
Less
write that
crime, more
down.
rhyme.
Yeah.
But we want to keep doing what we're doing, getting new people to come in, getting old people to come back, and just being that bridge between generations, classism, all those isms. We want to be that bridge between all those. So in the beginning there was the word, and hopefully in the end the word will still be there.
Okay, I like that. So one of the things that I like best about Black on Black Rhyme is that there are people from all walks of life, all races, all, young, old, male, female.
440, the 100 relay, all types of races.
All types of races. So
Yes.
people just come and share whatever is on their mind. They poetry, they do dance, they sing, and it's, like he said, an open mic. So I thank you for providing that type of format
Open mic,
and forum.
open mic, Open mind, open mouth.
All right. Good deal. Thanks.
Open dialogue.
Uh-huh.
And thank you for tuning in to Conversations with Nicole. We will see you next time where our feature will be.
So we have a new host, you see. Thank you, Keith Rodgers, for joining us on Conversations with Nicole.
And what's the guy name behind the camera?
That would be my producer, Gerald Tooks.
Gerald took what?
Tooks.
Took.
Yeah.
I thought he was taking stuff.
Stay tuned for more conversation.
Gerald took my picture.
Thank you for joining us for this week's Conversations with Nicole, where we are connecting the community through conversation. We invite you to show us how you are connecting the community through conversation by hashtagging CWN Moment and sharing your picture or your comment. We'll see you next time.
Conversations